The Galactic Combat Arena's undefeated champion just collapsed unconscious, and the human girl from the maintenance crew was the only one still standing in the ring. "Medical team to Arena Center. Code Violet, champion down!" The announcer's voice cracked across every speaker in the station, sending 30,000 spectators into immediate chaos. Mia Garcia stood frozen, mop still in hand, staring down at the massive form of Korvax sprawled across the polished combat floor. She'd literally just touched his shoulder. That was it. One touch to steady him because he'd looked dizzy after his match, and now the galaxy's most decorated warrior was unconscious at her feet. "Don't move!" Security Chief Zillax's voice boomed as he materialized beside her, his scanning equipment already sweeping over the scene. "Explain exactly what happened." He looked unsteady. Mia gestured helplessly with her mop. "I was cleaning the ring between matches. He walked past me, seemed like he was about to fall, so I reached out to steady him. I touched his shoulder for maybe 2 seconds and he just dropped." According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. "You touched him." Zillax's 3 eyes narrowed simultaneously. "You made physical contact with a fully augmented combat champion." "Yeah, so? I didn't hit him or anything, I just—" "Seal the arena!" Zillax barked into his communicator. "Nobody leaves!" "Full security lockdown, and get me the combat council. Now." The medical team swarmed over Korvax, their instruments flashing frantically. Mia watched one medic's face go through several colors she was pretty sure weren't supposed to happen naturally. "Chief!" The medic's voice was high with panic. "His combat augmentation system is completely offline. Neural enhancers, reflex boosters, tactical processors, everything just shut down. It's like someone hit a kill switch." "That's impossible," Zillax said flatly. "Those systems have 17 redundancies. They don't just shut down." "Well, they did." The medic looked up at Mia with something between fear and awe. "What did you do to him?" "I touched his shoulder." Mia's voice rose. "What part of this is confusing? I didn't shoot him with anything. I didn't hit him. I literally just put my hand on his shoulder to keep him from falling over." Zillax pulled up a holographic display, rewinding the security footage. The entire arena watched in silence as the replay showed Mia reaching out, her hand making contact with Korvax's shoulder, and the champion immediately crumpling like his bones had turned to water. "Ancestors preserve us," someone in the crowd whispered. "The human took down Korvax with one touch." "I didn't take him down. He just fell over." But the arena erupted in panicked chatter. Mia caught fragments. "Humans can disable augmentation. A Deathworld assassin. Been here for weeks. Could have killed anyone." "Okay, everyone calm down." Mia raised her voice, trying to sound authoritative while still holding a literal mop. "I'm a janitor. I clean floors. I don't even know what combat augmentation is." "How many others have you touched?" Zillax demanded, his hand hovering near his weapon. "How many fighters have you compromised?" "I don't touch the fighters. I clean around them." This was literally the first time I've had physical contact with anyone from the arena because, fun fact, most people don't look like they're about to eat floor mid-stride. On the ground, Korvax groaned and opened his eyes. The medics immediately helped him sit up, running more scans. "Champion, do you remember what happened?" Zillax asked urgently. Korvax blinked slowly, looking confused. "I finished my match, started walking back to the prep area, felt strange. Then darkness." His eyes focused on Mia. You touched me. To help you. You looked like you were going to face plant." "My systems." Korvax looked at his hands, flexing his fingers. "Everything's rebooting. I haven't felt this basic since before my first augmentation 20 cycles ago." "This is a galactic security incident," Zillax announced. "The human stays in custody until we understand what happened here." Custody? I have to finish my shift. Do you know how much cleaning a combat arena needs? Do you have any idea how much blood gets on these floors? You just disabled the galaxy's premier combat champion with a casual touch. Your shift is the least of our concerns. 2 hours later, Mia sat in a sealed conference room while approximately 40 different alien officials argued over her head. The Combat Council had arrived, then military officials, then representatives from the Galactic Defense Network, and now everyone was yelling at each other in 7 different languages. We should test the theory. Arena Director Vex Thule slammed a appendage on the table. If the human can disable augmentation systems, we need to understand how. And risk more champions? Zilax countered. What if the effect is permanent? Korvax's systems are already rebooting, a medical officer reported. He should be fully operational within the hour. The effect appears temporary. Oh, good, Mia interjected. So I'm not a murderer, just a walking power switch. That's so much better. Explain your Deathworld combat training, Admiral Jotaro demanded, his uniform indicating he was from the Galactic Defense Council. What augmentation systems do humans use? What? None? I mean, some people get cybernetic limbs if they lose one, but that's medical, not combat. Impossible. Your planet's gravity is 1.3 standard, your atmosphere is corrosive, your wildlife is predatory, and your star's radiation output is in the red zone. No species survives those conditions without extensive augmentation. Well, we do. We just adapted? Look, I don't know the science. I just know I wake up every day without feeling like Earth is trying to kill me. Probably because it spent millions of years slowly killing my ancestors until the ones left were the ones who could handle it. You fight without technological enhancement? Jotaro looked genuinely disturbed by this concept. How else would we fight? I mean, we have weapons, obviously, but hand-to-hand combat is just, fighting. You make a fist, you punch things, basic stuff. The room fell silent. Multiple officials were staring at Mia like she'd just claimed to breathe vacuum. You strike each other with unaugmented appendages? Vex Thule asked slowly. As a military doctrine? More like a bar fight doctrine, but sure. Look, do you want me to demonstrate or something? Because I took exactly 1 semester of self-defense in college, and I'm not exactly a fighter, but I can show you basic— No! Half the room shouted simultaneously. We need to test this systematically, Jotaro decided, under controlled conditions, with volunteers. I volunteer. Korvax appeared in the doorway, now fully recovered. If the human's touch is a weapon, I want to understand it. It's not a weapon. It's just my hand. Then prove it. Touch me again. Let them record the data this time. Mia sighed and stood up. Fine. But when this turns out to be a weird fluke, can I please go back to work? I'm hourly, and I'm not getting paid for this. They moved to a testing facility where approximately 50 sensors were aimed at Korvax while he stood in the center of the room. Mia approached him, feeling ridiculous. Just like before, Korvax instructed, place your hand on my shoulder. Mia reached out and touched his shoulder. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Korvax's eyes went wide, and he dropped like a puppet with cut strings. The sensor arrays went completely insane, alarms blaring in 4 different tones. All augmentation systems offline, a technician yelled. Neural enhancers, combat processors, reflex boosters, complete shutdown. The readings are ancestors. The human's bioelectric signature is completely incompatible with our technology. Mia pulled her hand back, and Korvax immediately started recovering. Okay, what the hell? Why does my hand turn off your computer systems? It's not just your hand, another technician reported, staring at his display in horror. Your entire body is generating an electromagnetic interference pattern that our augmentation technology interprets as a critical system failure. When you make physical contact, the effect is amplified through direct bioelectric transfer. In what language is that supposed to make sense? Your biology is actively hostile to our military technology, Jotaro translated grimly. Every human is a walking countermeasure to galactic combat augmentation. Hold on, let me get this straight. Mia looked around the room. You built your entire military infrastructure around computer systems that stop working when someone touches you, and nobody thought that might be a design flaw? No species has a bioelectric signature like yours. Deathworld. Radiation environments don't produce soldiers, they produce corpses. Except we're not corpses. We're janitors and office workers, and yeah, okay, some soldiers too. And none of us have computer brains because we don't need them to punch things. Test it again, Vexthul ordered, with different subjects. We need to know the full scope. Over the next hour, Mia touched 7 different volunteers. Results were identical every time. Immediate shutdown of all augmentation systems upon physical contact. A handshake, a high five, even brushing against someone's arm in passing. Every touch disabled their combat enhancements instantly. This is a crisis, Jotaro announced. 847 member species of the Galactic Defense Network use augmentation technology as the foundation of our military doctrine. If humans can disable these systems with a touch, then every human is a living weapon against our entire military, Xylax finished. Or, Mia said slowly, and hear me out here, maybe building soldiers who shut down from a handshake wasn't the greatest strategic choice. The room erupted in argument again. Mia caught phrases like complete system overhaul, tactical disadvantage, and human recruitment protocols. Wait, Mia shouted over the chaos. Can we talk about something important here? Like, how do you people actually fight if your combat ability comes from computers? The augmentation enhances our physical capabilities, Korvax explained. Increased strength, faster reflexes, tactical processing, threat assessment. But what happens if those systems fail in combat? What do you do then? Korvax looked confused. The systems don't fail, they have redundancies. Except they do fail. When they meet a human. So what's your backup plan? There isn't one. Without augmentation, our combat effectiveness drops to baseline biological capabilities. Which are minimal. Most species can't survive military engagement without enhancement. Mia stared at him. You're telling me that your entire galaxy's military is completely dependent on technology that I can shut off by touching you. That's an oversimplification, but essentially, yes. Holy shit. Okay, new question. How do humans fight on Earth? That's what we're trying to determine, Jotaro said impatiently. No, Mia thought about how to explain this. We train, physically. We learn how to fight with our actual bodies. Martial arts, boxing, wrestling, military combat training, all of it is about making your body the weapon, not relying on computers to do it for you. That's barbaric, someone muttered. That's effective. Look, I'm literally the least trained fighter from my planet. I took one self-defense class in college, and I go to a boxing gym sometimes for cardio. That's it. I'm basically useless in a real fight by human standards, and I just accidentally took down your undefeated champion by touching his shoulder. The room went very quiet. Show us, Korvax said suddenly. Show us how humans fight without augmentation. I just told you, I'm not a fighter. I'm a janitor who occasionally hits a punching bag for exercise. Show us anyway, Mia sighed and moved to an open space in the room. Okay, basic stance. Feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent, hands up to protect your face. She demonstrated. Basic punch, rotation from the hips, extend through the shoulder, snap at full extension, return to guard position. Basic defense. Slip, duck, block, parry, basic combination, jab, cross, hook. That's literally day one stuff at any gym on Earth. She moved through the motions slowly, demonstrating each technique. The assembled aliens watched in what appeared to be horrified fascination. You train your population in physical violence? Vexthul asked. Some of us, yeah. Self-defense classes are pretty common. Lots of people do martial arts as a hobby. Military personnel train extensively in hand-to-hand combat. It's just normal, without any technological enhancement. Why would we need enhancement to punch someone? Your body does that naturally. But the efficiency is so low. The reaction time, the force generation, the tactical assessment, all suboptimal without augmentation. Maybe, but it works when the computers shut off, which apparently happens a lot around humans. Mia grinned. You know what we call someone who can only fight when their gadgets work? We call them screwed when the power goes out. Jotaro was making rapid notes on a datapad. This explains the historical records. We've documented 17 Deathworld species over galactic history. None were ever recruited for military service because they couldn't interface with augmentation technology. We assumed they were incompatible. We never considered they didn't need it. Because you fight with your actual bodies, Korvax said, understanding dawning in his expression. Your combat capability is organic, not technological. Exactly. And before you ask, no, that doesn't make us super soldiers or anything. We're just humans. We get tired. We make mistakes. We're definitely not the galaxy's best fighters. We're just the ones who can still fight when you touch us, apparently. This changes everything, Jotaro said grimly. Our entire military doctrine is based on augmentation technology. If humans can disable it with casual contact, we need to fundamentally restructure our combat protocols. Or, Mia suggested, you could just train people to fight without the computers? I'm just saying, seems like a more efficient solution than redesigning your entire military around the fact that my species exists. Train without augmentation. Vexthul tested the words like they tasted strange. Develop organic combat capabilities as primary systems rather than baseline biological functions. Sure, it's not that complicated. Humans have been teaching each other how to fight for like thousands of years. We've got pretty good at it. The human makes a valid point, Korvax said. If our augmentation can be disabled, we need to be capable without it. We need to learn organic combat. I'm not teaching an entire galaxy how to box, Mia said quickly. I have a job, a real job, with floors that need cleaning and equipment that needs maintenance. We could recruit human combat instructors, Jotaro mused. Establish training protocols for organic fighting techniques, integrate them into military academies. And we need to redesign our augmentation technology, a technical officer added. Shield it against Deathworld interference patterns. Maybe develop hybrid systems that don't completely shut down from bioelectric disruption. That's going to take years, Zilak said. Then we start now. In the meantime, we need protocols for human contact, diplomatic guidelines, security measures, combat contingencies. Or just don't start fights with humans, Mia offered. That seems like an easier solution. The human continues to demonstrate tactical insight, Korvax noted. Perhaps Deathworld conditions breed practical thinking along with resilient biology. Or maybe we just don't overcomplicate things. You people seem really fond of complicated. 3 weeks later, Mia was finishing her shift when Korvax found her in the maintenance section. The Combat Council has established new training protocols, he announced. All fighters must now demonstrate organic combat capability without augmentation assistance. They're calling them the Garcia Protocols. They named a fighting system after me? I'm a janitor. You're the janitor who revealed the fundamental weakness in galactic military doctrine. The Council felt it was appropriate. He paused. I was hoping you would teach me. Teach you what? How to mop floors. How to fight. Without augmentation. The way humans do. Mia studied him for a moment. The galaxy's undefeated champion wanted boxing lessons from someone who cleaned toilets for a living. The universe was weird. Fine, but I'm still working my shifts, so you're learning on my breaks. And you're starting with the absolute basics: stance, movement, balance. None of this fancy champion stuff until you can throw a proper jab. Agreed. Korvax looked genuinely excited. When do we start? Right now. Grab that mop bucket and move it to the corner. That's your first exercise. If you can't move equipment without relying on computer-assisted strength, you're not ready to throw a punch. This is training? This is real life. On Earth, we call it functional fitness. You want to learn to fight like a human? Start by learning to work like one. Now move the bucket. As Korvax struggled with the mop bucket, his augmentation apparently handled most physical labor automatically. Mia couldn't help but laugh. The galaxy's premier warrior, learning to be human one mundane task at a time. Her communicator pinged with a message from Admiral Jotaro. Combat. Academies requesting human instructors. Compensation substantial. Interested. Mia deleted the message and went back to organizing cleaning supplies. Teaching one champion was enough. Besides, she had a station to maintain and student loans to pay off. Saving the galaxy from its own over-reliance on technology could wait until after her shift. You know the really crazy part? She called to Korvax, who was still struggling with the bucket. I'm not even good at fighting. Wait until you meet someone from my planet who actually trained, like a real fighter, someone who actually chose to learn combat instead of just taking a class because it was a graduation requirement. Korvax dropped the bucket. There are humans who specialize in organic combat? Oh yeah, professional fighters, military special forces, martial arts masters, people who've spent years perfecting techniques that you can't just download into your brain. People who can actually fight, not just people who know how to throw a basic punch. Ancestors preserve us, Korvax whispered. The janitor is your baseline? Pretty much. Why? He sat down heavily, looking shaken. We've been building our military doctrine around augmentation for 3,000 years, and a human with basic training just invalidated all of it by accident. Yeah, well, Mia tossed him a mop. Now you get to learn the fun way. Less computer assistance, more actual work. Welcome to being human, champion. It's exhausting, it's awkward, and your body's going to hurt in places you didn't know existed. But hey, at least you'll be able to fight when someone touches you. Korvax picked up the mop and looked at it like it was an alien artifact. This is going to be humbling, isn't it? Extremely. Now start with the South Corridor. Those floors aren't going to clean themselves, and neither are you going to train yourself. Sometimes the best combat training is just learning how to work hard without a computer doing it for you. As the former undefeated champion began mopping floors under her supervision, Mia reflected that maybe Earth's gym teachers had been onto something with all that builds character talk. Apparently, the entire galaxy needed to learn what every high school athlete already knew. Technology fails, bodies don't, if you train them right. Her communicator pinged again, another recruitment message, this time offering triple her current salary to teach at a military academy. She deleted it and went back to work. The galaxy could figure itself out. She had floors to clean and a champion to train, one basic human task at a time. Besides, someone had to maintain this station. And unlike the military, cleaning never relied on computers that stop working when you touch them. That was the real human advantage, Mia thought, knowing that the unglamorous, mundane work was just as important as the flashy stuff, maybe more important. After all, someone had to mop up after galactic paradigm shifts. Might as well be the person who started them.